He's the MVP of the National Football League, the reigning MVP of the National Football League, who took care of business last night on Sunday Night Football against a fellow former MVP of the NFL and Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. He is of the 2-0 Falcons. Joining us, Matt Ryan. He's back here on the Rich Eisen Show. How you doing, Matt?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on, Rich.
Thanks for calling in after such a big Sunday night game. What did you guys see on film against Green Bay that you thought you could exploit when you got out on the field against them on Sunday?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing when we watched the Seattle game was just that there was a commitment to stop the run from the Green Bay defense and playing a lot more single safety coverage than we had seen from them last year. And, we felt like our play-action passing game could open some things up for us early in the game. It certainly did that. We created some explosives and also, created some run opportunities for us. I thought we ran the ball really well last night.
Well, from just the perspective of sitting on a couch, it sure looks like you guys picked up where you last left off last year. How do you read it, Matt?
Well, I think we're doing some good things for sure. The first drive last night for us felt like we got into a really good rhythm, which kind of got the ball rolling for us in that game, specifically in the first half. I do think there's a lot of things we can clean up. We're not where we need to be yet, but it's good to be 2 games into it with 2 wins and still a lot of room for improvement.
So then I'd like to run through some narratives that have been placed upon the Falcons going into the season by the national media, and certainly I'm sure you've heard it locally, Matt, and I'd like you to go one by one here, if you don't mind. Starting with the fact that your old offensive coordinator is now the coach in San Francisco, and you and Steve Sarkisian wouldn't have that simpatico relationship right from Jump Street, and it would affect the offense. What do you say to that?
Well, I think we're getting more comfortable together for sure. But we've done a good job the first 2 weeks, and I think we'll continue to improve on that front. It's never easy when you have a change at that position at that coaching spot. There's just everybody's a little bit different. But Steve's been easy to work with, and certainly done a great job for us the first 2 weeks.
Well, how do you get on that same page, other than just playing football games?
Well, that's the most important thing. I think as we continue to play games and we're in the fire together, I think that's how you really connect. But communication, open lines of communication is key. That's something that I've learned throughout my career, is to really communicate clearly with your coordinator the things that you're seeing, and then vice versa. They need to really communicate clearly to you what their expectation is. So
is today a day for that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Monday and Tuesday following a game is critical for a quarterback and a coordinator, specifically, early on working together. I think as you get further into the relationship, there's a better understanding of each other. But early on, that communication is key, post-game.
So just getting just a little bit deeper in the weeds on this, do you have a list of things from last night that you're going to go in today and say, hey, Steve, X, Y, Z, A, B, C?
Yeah, as we watch the film together, for sure, there'll be things that we talk about today of, hey, this came up in the second quarter or this came up in the third quarter. What were you thinking here? Here's what I was thinking here. Here's where, you could help me out with this, or here's where I can help you out with that. Those are definitely things that come up. And as I watch the film, first myself, but also, I usually have a mental checklist of things that we need to talk about the day after.
You got one for me from last night? Give me
I can't give you any nuggets.
I want a nugget, though.
I can't give away the game plan here.
Well, I got to get nuggets because Chick-fil-A's not open on a Sunday at
You're
your
right
stadium.
About that. That's another storyline from the offseason I guess we could talk about.
That is true. And I talked about it because NFL Network has the Thursday night game where it's the only night in that new stadium Chick-fil-A will be open, Matt.
There you go.
I've got to
get some nuggets for me.
I've got to come to town for that to happen. And before we get to the new stadium, I do want to hit another narrative, and that is anytime there is a moment of adversity, Super Bowl 51 is going to crop up in the mind's eye of everybody in the organization. What do you say to something about that, Matt?
Well, I think that narrative is outside the building for sure. That's a question that we've had to answer, and I think we all have answered. Is there any residual effect of that? I can speak for our locker room and the guys in our locker room. We're not thinking about that. Our guys are focused on how good this 2017 football team can become. And, we've answered that and talked about that. And that's honestly, that's how we feel. That's what we're focused on. And so we understand that we're going to have to answer questions about that. That's the nature of our business. But inside this building, I think we have the right mindset.
Now, I did see on NFL Game Day Morning, my pregame show with the guys on NFL Network yesterday, you carrying some monster huge log in a piece that Andrea Kramer did about you guys working with the Navy SEALs, with a former Navy SEAL in the offseason to get mentally tough for this exact subject of conversation that we're having. So what have you guys done about that?
Yeah, I mean that was one of the things Dan had us do during the off season was have a group of Navy SEALs from a company called AT&T come in, and they were guys that we had worked with before, but just from a standpoint of mentally being able to move on to the next mission or the next opportunity, whatever it may be. Really, there's nobody better to pick their brains than the SEALs. And the group of guys that we've gotten to know the last 2 years, I think have really helped our team with that. And carrying that log, I was the weak link in our group. I was with some big guys. So,
yeah.
They were pulling my weight, which was nice. But, it was good. It was good for us. And I think it brought our team probably closer together.
Yeah, I mean, I thought to myself, I'll be honest, I'm like, look, I feel I'm a team player, and I understand, I've got to get better in my profession every single day, but I'm not lifting a log for anybody. That's what I thought watching that.
Luckily, I was with some offensive linemen and defensive linemen, and, that made it a lot easier for myself.
Matt Ryan here on the Rich Eisen Show. I also noticed that Dan Quinn has a clock that instead of any of the numbers on it, it just says the word now. So it's 1:30 now. It's 15 minutes to now. Is that another thing that he's done, essentially, or to turn the page, or has that clock always been on the wall, Matt?
Yeah, that's been on the wall since he got here. It makes for meeting times, what times things start can be a little bit confusing, but
right.
It's something that's his mindset, and that's no different from the first day he stepped into this building. He talks about that all the time. The most important, day or meeting or whatever is the one that you're in. And, it's something that he lives by. And I think it translates into our team. I think a lot of guys have that mindset.
So what is it like getting on the field in a game against somebody of Aaron Rodgers' caliber? Obviously, you've done it many, many times with other people, and I understand that every game is important. But when you step out on the field and you know that Aaron Rodgers, number 12's at the controls for the opponent, how does that affect the way you go about your business, Matt?
Well, that they're always in it. He's an unbelievable player and such a great competitor. We've gone against each other a number of times, and he just makes so many plays. His ability to extend plays, scramble, and find receivers down the field is as good as anybody ever, in my opinion. And you just know going into it that regardless of whatever lead that you have, they're going to continue to battle and chip away at it, and you've got to be sharp for 4 quarters and really not give them anything. And that's probably good advice for any time you're playing, but certainly when you're going against a player of his caliber.
And obviously you'll be an interested observer in Monday Night Football tonight because your next opponent is the Lions. How do you view a game when you're just watching in real time like the rest of America as a scout in a way, Matt?
Sometimes I just enjoy it. I'll get to work probably more so tomorrow on Detroit and on their defense. But tonight, I'll just watch casually. It's, maybe there's something you could pick up here or there. I guess you never really turn that analytical eye off. But for the most part, I'll watch it, just as a normal fan.
Well, plus you're also tight with Stafford. That I know, right? You're very friendly with him, and your wives are friendly. You're...
Absolutely. He's one of my, best friends and great guy, great competitor. But it's all bets off this week.
I know when that happens, and I'm sure it's the same way for him. And then, he obviously is the highest paid quarterback in the National Football League right now, and you might surpass that very soon. Can you just give us an update on what your contractual conversations with the Falcons has been so far, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing going on, and that's completely normal for how we operate. I don't worry about it. I feel like I take care of my business on the field and leave the business side of it to my agents and to the front office here. So, I think it'll get done when it needs to get done. We've got plenty of time, and I just got to keep focusing on playing good football.
Well, and all you got to do is just look around the new stadium and know the team has the money, right?
There was no shortage of dollars spent on that stadium. Arthur did a great job, and I'm really happy for him. He deserves it. It's been an incredible, ride for me to play for him for as long as I have. And last night to see the stadium open up and to get a win with the opener, knowing that he has put, so much of his life into that building. It was really special.
It looks incredible on TV. I got to tell you.
You're going to love it when you tell NFL Network to get you down for the Thursday night game so you can get your nuggets. You're going to love the stadium.
Yeah. It looks incredible the way that roof opens up. Although I got to say this, Matt, in my end of the business, okay, in the television end, the advent of 4K does not help me, okay? I'm a man pushing 50. Wear makeup for a living.
4K doesn't help anybody.
Okay, so I mean, now that when you do a play, I mean, you look up, you see it on all these screens. I mean, my gosh, what do you think about that, Matt? You're looking up, you see it everywhere.
Yeah, You better get the nose hair trimmer out and make sure you've taken care of your manscaping or whatever that you need to take care of.
All right, Matt. Thanks for calling in after a big win. Good luck down the line. I already look forward to our next chat.
Thanks, Rich. Appreciate it.
You bet. That's Matt Ryan, Falcons quarterback.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on radio stations across the country and audience.
If you like that, please download our app. There's lots of fun things there other than just more of the videos you just saw. You can call us from the app. You can email us from the app. Just download it. Trust me, you'll enjoy it.